Back a few years ago, I thought that the last months of the year were like the dead season, and I could have not been more wrong. And I've discovered this is actually the best time to make your business peak. This is like the best month to double down on the amount of income and cash flow that you are making in your business. And this is exactly what took me from having slow months to having my highest cash months towards the end of the year. Let me share with you my strategy behind exploding your bank account, how to get out of stagnant energy, and how getting your content to match your level of talent and expertise is one of the key elements into getting your cash flow to match what you want. Welcome back to the podcast, girlies. Happy Tuesday. I'm actually filming this on Tuesday. This is actually crazy. I don't usually do this, but I had a busy weekend. So it's me, your host, Malika. There is barely 3 months left to the year. How crazy is that? And that means time to make your bank account explode like you know it should be right now, okay? Because the thing is, your clients are out there. The question is just like, are they coming to you or not, right? And so this is why I used to think, like, when I was doing my makeup business a few years ago, I always was like, oh, like, I feel like the last months of the year, like the dead months, it's like people don't really book and everything. And like, I was so wrong. I was so wrong because the minute that I started switching up what I was doing and how I was approaching everything that I was doing, which is what I'm going to share with you today, everything started to change. And that's when I realized, oh my God, it's not a slow month. It's actually the best month. It's just that I wasn't really doing the right things or focusing on the right things. And so let's get into what that is, what that looks like. This is going to be so good. Just trust me when I say this is the best month for your business if you know how to capitalize on it. And so let's dive into it. Go grab your matcha, go on your hot girl walk, and let's start. We are already in Q4, the last part of the year. And I think that like this is the time when most people's energy like slow down. Like, like you're just like getting like, it's the end of the year. You're like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is one of the main thing. It's like people's energy slow down. And obviously it's because, you've been through the whole year. It's like the last months of the year. But I find that your energy is truly the dictator of your momentum. And so if your energy is starting to slow down, then obviously everything else will slow down as well because you yourself are slowing down, right? And I've talked about this in my previous episode from last week. In order to have an energy that truly lasts and the momentum that truly lasts, it needs to come from a place that you are able to sustain, and it needs to be from a place that it's fueling you instead of draining you. And that is truly how you are able to like maintain that like bad bitch energy where you can keep going and where you can get even more results and more income towards the end of the year. Well, towards the last months of the year. It truly is what sets the tone for the year to come because you're like crushing the end of the year. And so when the new year come, you're like, holy shit, like I know exactly what to do in order to crush this new year even more. Anyway, so all that to say that like your energy is truly going to be a major key part into this, right? Making sure that your energy is still, you are still like fueling yourself. You are still running your business in a way that like, number one is fueling you, and number two is not burning you out, right? Because this is something that I realized back a few years ago, when I was like, oh my God, these are the last few months and like there's not a lot of clients or whatever. And I feel like a big part of that was also because I was constantly just burning out, and I was like, I was constantly jacking up so many clients, and I had periods where I was so burned out. So then I had other periods where I was just I would just crash out, like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't super sustainable. And then I realized like, oh, I don't need it to be like a huge motherfucking roller coaster. Like I can have it be like just like you're just going up, like, like it's not like a fucking roller coaster where you go up, you crash, you go up, you crash. right? Along with your income, it's like not the vibe, not the vibe. So anyways, a big part of that is just going to be your energy, right? Like, how are you getting more energy? How are you making sure that like you are structuring the way that you go about things, the way that you do your business, the way that you plan your content, the way you post, like whatever, like that it is sustainable for you and that it fuels you instead of like draining you all the fucking time, and then you just like are losing your momentum, you're losing your energy. Because like when you are wanting to go bigger, you are stepping into a bigger kind of energy, a bigger kind of frequency. Like you were just like up leveling your energy in a way that feels amazing, not in a way that like feels draining, if that makes sense. And what I realized is that Q4, you know, the end quarter of the year is not slow, is that sometimes your energy is slow and it's just matching you basically. And your highest paid months are not going to be by you needing to do more or post like a crazy person in order to hopefully get more visibility and get more clients or whatever. It's not going to be by that, because by doing that, you're probably just gonna end up like burning out and you're not even gonna like it, right? This is something that I talk about a lot, which is like, you know, the energy that lasts is going to be the energy that you actually enjoy running on, not the one that like 1 week you're like go 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 and then the next week you're like dead, right? It's more so that it's a misaligned effort. So like, you know, where you are putting the focus, that is actually going to compound for you a lot more and actually get you those highs paid month. So let's dive into that a little bit, okay? We need to start doing more refinement over hustling, right? Because the cleaner your systems are, the clearer your messaging is, and the sharper your positioning is, right? How you are positioning yourself online, how you are creating your content online, how you are marketing yourself, the more you can refine it and the more clear it gets, the easier it gets also, because it's not so much about doing more, but it's more about refinement, precision. That's the thing that truly makes the biggest difference. Because yes, you could like technically do more. Everyone can do more. Like, you know, everyone can do more, but you'll just get more of what you already have. And so what I've learned, and this took me so long to realize, even though it's so obvious when I say it out loud, it sounds so obvious now, but truly it is about refinement. It is about clarity. It's quite simple. It's not like you're missing some like magical skill or that you need to put in more effort as if you're not already putting so much effort, right? It's just that you need to start marketing yourself like the version of you who is attracting those kind of clients that are the best kind of client that you want to have. That is the difference. And that comes with clarity and refinement, not necessarily posting more or doing more, but it's more about mastery. Now, the next key element for this is going to be having an iconic personal brand, okay? The kind that like, it's just so iconic. It's just so iconic, no matter what your business is, right? It just feels iconic. It doesn't feel like something that is like basic and I've seen like 3,000 times, but it actually feels so iconic, feels so uniquely you, right? I feel like it's so easy to get lost in the game of like, oh my God, like what is this person doing? Oh my God, like they're doing content like this, or oh my God, I need to have content that like hacks the algorithm or that checks off all the boxes. And then you just end up with a strategy that's just like so motherfucking all over the place. And then you're like, why is it not working if I'm following all of these tips? And that is why. It's because your strategy is like, it's giving all over the place, is giving not really you, and it's not really giving iconic. And that is what we want. We want it to be iconic. And most of the time, what I see a lot, especially with clients, is that there's a disconnect between their level of talent and skill and their content, right? And so most of the time, it's not that like you are not skilled enough or you are not talented enough. It's just that your content itself is not really matching the level of value that you offer or the level of like expertise that you have, or it's just not really matching what your clients need to see in order to be like, holy shit, that is the girl for me. That is exactly who I want, or that is exactly who I'm willing to pay a lot more for right? And so that is just like a disconnect with your level of like your personal brand and you. And so what we need to do is that we need to like kind of like recalibrate so that it actually match. And so the inside of how it feels when we are with you as a client or whatever actually match the outside, right? Because your personal brand is kind of like the outside of like, you know, what, like, you know, it's kind of like the outside, right? And then the inside is like the service that they get when they're with you, or like the things that they actually pay for, right? And so we just need the outside to just match the inside more. This is often why like posting more is just not really going to cut it, because posting more will not really change if your content is just not matching up to you. But especially if you like are winging your content, or you just like do it on the fly, or you just like set up time to film but like then you just like wing it, whatever, like you will always end up with like half of the result that you are looking to actually have, which is why it's not really giving as much result, or maybe the months feel slower, or maybe like it feels just like you're not crushing it as much as you know you should. And to a certain extent, like you want your content to feel organic, like, you know, you don't want it to feel like you're a robot. Obviously, like for example, when I do these episodes, like I still somewhat plan it out, but not like every single word that I say, obviously, but there's still some sort of strategy behind it, right? It's not like I'm winging the whole damn thing, because when you actually want to have the whole amount of result that you are looking to have, you do need to have a strategy behind it, because it will get you a lot faster there a lot faster and a lot quicker. When you are weighing your content, it actually always kind of attract like price shoppers rather than just like the kind of best premium clients that you are actually looking to have. And the reason for that is because of the level of precision that is in your content, or the way that you are just positioning yourself. Again, it's always about like refinement, being so freaking clear in your messaging, because when you're weighing your content, like you are never really getting so clear on what is the message you want to convey. How do you want your clients to feel when they watch it? Like, you know, like it's like there's a bit of like things that are missing, which is why, you know, like your best client, like I always find that like your best clients will always be attracted by a level of clarity in your positioning, in your messaging, in your personal brand. And that is truly what makes it, whether you are attracting the kind of like clients who like are kind of like broke bitches who like don't really want to pay for you, versus the one that like are actually so freaking obsessed with you and that are going to pay whatever your rate is without even questioning, without even needing any convincing. And truly the kind of personal brand that is so freaking iconic is the one that like, it's not like a cookie cutter one fits all kind of content strategy, because that is so not realistic. And that is actually the kind of shit that like makes it so that you are oversaturating the place, and that everything feels so oversaturated, or it feels like, oh my god, like there's just no more clients in these months or whatever. Why? Because of the fact that you are adding on to the oversaturation when you are listening to like all the how to hack the algorithm, how to like blow up online, how to go viral. It's like, oh my god, like boring, I'm bored. Okay, how about we create a strategy that is actually rooted in you, and that is actually conveying the kind of business that you want to have, the clients that you actually want to have, and that is built around the kind of lifestyle that you want to have. Because that is also something that I realized that wasn't really working for me. When I was listening to all the advice online, it was just making my head explode, literally. And I was like, wait, this cannot be the only way, because literally I can't. Like I literally can't. And when I stopped trying to force myself into the way of like, oh, just hack the algorithm, just do this, whatever, and I actually started building a strategy rooted in me, and I started teaching the same for my clients, it's like it no longer feels so forced. And that is actually when it's so easy to start scaling faster, hence, you know, the last months of the year. And so if you're not already doing that, then definitely start thinking, you know, where am I putting myself in a box? Where am I putting myself in a box that literally makes my head want to explode? Because trust me, once your head is not exploding anymore, it will feel a lot easier to focus on the right things, and the right things that gets a bigger return on investment. You know, that it's your energy, that it's your offers, that it's your clients, that it's your content, that it's your personal brand, right? That it's your funnels, whatever. Because like I said, okay, the clients are there. The question is just, are they coming to you, or are they overlooking you because they're not really impressed with the kind of content that you're, like how you are marketing yourself, basically. And in correlation to that, it also comes down to having better standards. Now, I've talked about this a lot, but like having better standards for the kind of client that you take is tremendously going to help just raise your cash flow a lot quicker without needing to necessarily do more, simply because you are switching the kind of clientele that you are attracting to you. And that is the key thing. Like, it's not that you are attracting more people, you are attracting different people. And that is the key thing. That is the key thing that often goes like very, very much overlooked. It's not that you're attracting more people. It's that you are attracting different people who are actually paying you a lot more and who are actually willing to pay that much because they want you. You know, when you are going about like how you are positioning yourself, how you are positioning yourself in your personal brand, how you are doing your content, like how are you conveying the way that you respect your time, the way that you have the kind of boundaries that you have with your clients, the kind of expectation that you have from your clients, or the kind of experience or thing that you convey to your clients, right? Like, how are you conveying all of this through your content? Because if you are not, then you will be attracting the kind of clients who just walk all over your boundaries, don't really care about what is it that you charge, right? Like, that is the difference. It's the same thing as like, it's so funny. It's the same thing as like having like real relationship in real life, right? It's the same principle. If you have no boundaries, if you are not clear about what those are, you'll get walk all over you, right? It's the same thing. And so truly, it's about having the kind of personal brand that reflects your energy, your talent, and your standards. All of it together, all while creating an iconic personal brand that is the kind of personal brand that people have not seen 1,000 times. Like, if I go on your page, I'm like, oh my God, I have literally never seen this kind of content. I have never really seen like someone in the nail industry do their content like this, or someone in the coaching industry do their content like this, or someone in the sales like place like do their content like this, or talk about it like this, right? Like, that is the difference between an personal brand that's going to be kind of overlooked and one that is going to be so freaking iconic that people are literally obsessed with, that your best freaking clients are literally obsessed with, and they're like, holy shit, that is the girl for me. I don't need any convincing. Like, I'm just sold. I'm there. I'm booking. I'm I'm in your calendar. And lastly is going to be the mindset going into these last few months, okay? Because like I said, okay, if you are set on, okay, like these are the last few months and they're slow, let's throw that in the trash and let's instead think, okay, these are actually the best months for my business. And so what the fuck is the plan? Right? That is a totally different mindset from where we started, because that is how I used to think. So this is, a huge different mindset just based on the way that you are thinking and the way that you are just gonna go about it, because the way that you're thinking about it is going to influence the action that you take regarding this. And so obviously thinking this way is going to help a lot. And so literally decide that this is going to be your highest paid months, that these are going to be your best months of the year, and that you are finishing the year so freaking strong, and that it is actually so freaking amazing. Okay, so just get into that energy mentally and energetically, and you will see that your momentum will start to pick up, your energy will start to pick up, your result will start to pick up, and you will actually be willing to do a lot more riskier move, bolder move. You'll be in such a different state that will get you inevitably a bigger return on investment. This directly ties into like having more certainty, right? Having more certainty, like how would you feel if you knew that your program was gonna like absolutely sell the fuck out? If you knew that all your calendar was gonna be booked the fuck out, or like that you knew that like you were gonna raise your rate twice what it is right now, and like your clients are not even gonna blink, they're gonna be like, oh my god, yes, I'm so in, right? Like, so what would that feel like? What does that expansion feel like? And if you knew for certain that this was to happen, how would you do things differently right now? How would you move differently right now? How would you, I don't fucking know. How would you create your content? How would you create your system? How would you be marketing yourself? What are the decisions that you'd be doing? What would be your game plan? Like what would be these things if you knew for certain that the last couple of months are the months that people spend the most, and that they're actually so freaking ready to invest in themselves or to pay you or to book you like more than ever before, right? Or like that you have a client that like they book you like so many times more than like they usually do. So like, what would that feel like? Because that directly ties into having more certainty, and just having more certainty will always influence how you are taking action. And this will also influence how other people perceive you, how they perceive your energy, and how they're just willing to pay you because of the fact that you are internally shifting how you think of yourself and how you think of your business. And so this makes other people shift how they also view you. Like, hello, it's a two-way street. And so how would you be like, what would you be doing differently? Because I want you to really think about like the level of certainty that you have now and the level of certainty that you actually want to have. Because these are going to be very, very different things that are going to be giving you very, very, very different results, and that you are going to be moving very, very, very differently by just knowing that, by just being clear on that, right? And so what is the level of confidence that you have right now to reach the all the goals that you've had for the end of the year? How do you actually feel about those goals, right? Are you feeling so certain that you're like, I fucking got this, whatever? Or are you feeling kind of like, oh, I'm kind of discouraged, like I'm kind of like whatever? Because no, let's pick up the pace. Let's crush it, because you can crush it. And this all starts with having the right mindset in order to crush the end of the year. The woman that you will be in January is literally being built as we speak, and making the choices that you are making right now. Okay. And this is why this is so freaking important, because the way that you are doing your things right now is setting the tone for the year to come in January, in less than 3 months. And with all that said, this is basically how I started shifting my slowest months into my biggest months, and how I just shifted everything around within my business. And this is exactly what I kept doing when I shifted my business from makeup to now teaching personal branding. If you love this episode, definitely take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram. I love to see what you girlies are doing while you're listening to the podcast. And if you think that a friend would absolutely love this episode, definitely share it to them, send it to someone that you know. And as always, I'll meet you here next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and don't forget to leave your 5-star rate and review on the podcast. I love to know what you guys think of the episodes, and I will meet you here next week.